Hi, and welcome to SpringPath's College and Career Readiness Success Tracks. I'm Elisa Ocone, Director of Outreach, and today we are talking about demonstrating interest in Success Track 3, Episode 5. So this is a little bit shorter, and though shorter, I think certainly packs a punch. This is a topic that is definitely important, one that some people don't really know about. So we'll dig in today. What does demonstrated interest mean? Does it matter? And ways to demonstrate. And that'll really be the slide that we focus on next. And the only other subsequent slide is ways to demonstrate. So let's just talk for a moment about what does it mean and does it matter? Well, demonstrated interest is really the way that some, not all, colleges and universities track your interest in them. And it is sometimes used as a factor in the admissions decision process. So, again, important to note that it's important to some and not all. And what it can really do is help those admissions teams determine who or which students are more likely to enroll if accepted. And that's certainly something that matters because they want to accept those students who are more likely to enroll. And demonstrated interest can be an indicator of that. So it's also important to note that there are varying levels of interest in demonstrated interest, or I should say importance to demonstrated interest. There are some institutions, for whom demonstrated interest doesn't matter at all. They are going to make their admissions decisions whether or not a student is showing that they're really interested in them. There are some for whom it's considered. There are some for whom it is very, very important. So it is different, and it's certainly something you can investigate on colleges' websites. Sometimes that information will be out there. Other times it won't. But what I can say is, regardless of the importance or not at any particular institution, it won't hurt you to participate and engage. And there have actually been some students who are perhaps relegated to a wait list, or let's say deferred to a regular decision round if they had applied early and hadn't shown interest. So again, varying levels of importance at and amongst different institutions. But let's kind of dig into the good stuff and the ways to demonstrate this interest. All right, one is interviews. So interviews can be offered by an admissions team. They can be optional insofar as you're looking at the website and you see that one way that this school has to get to know you, or an additional way after your application, is to schedule an interview. I would certainly do that. So, again, if this is a place that you really want to be accepted and you can really see yourself, it makes sense to do all of the things that you can. Sometimes those interviews are scheduled with alumni. Sometimes it will be with one of the admissions counselors, sometimes the director of admissions, sometimes another student on campus currently. So it really depends, and there's a lot of ways to take advantage of those opportunities. I would say whatever is offered, and if there's an option even for just one of those interviews, absolutely do it. It again shows your interest, but also lets that institution get to know you in a different way, and who you are off of the page, or I guess I should say in our digital world, off of the screen, where your application lives. So definitely take advantage if interviews are offered or optional. High school visits. So these are the visits where the college admissions representative visits your high school, and that's an opportunity to sign up. And again, I know sometimes it can be difficult to get out of a class. It depends on what class you have at the time where that admissions counselor is visiting your high school. If you are able to attend, absolutely attend. It lets you meet someone from that admissions team face to face, ask questions. Again, by attending, you're showing that you're interested. I will also add, some of these high school visits through the pandemic went virtual, and some schools, because it eases their travel schedule, will still opt for a virtual high school visit. Many are in person now. Take advantage either way. If this is an institution that you're interested in, definitely do. If you are participating in a virtual high school visit with a college or trade school professional, I would ask you to be professional. I will share that when I was working in college admissions during the pandemic and participating in these virtual experiences, I had students who were there with cameras on, but were slumped over, not paying attention. That's not a good look. So I would really only participate in those high school visits if you have a genuine interest in that college or university, and certainly show that much. Be your most professional self with that admissions professional, whether you're in person or virtual. Or another note on that, if you aren't able to attend for whatever reason, you have a class or you're not in school that day, certainly ask whoever it is in your high school, whether it's a college and career center or someone in your school counseling office, whoever set up that visit, if you can have the contact information for the admissions personnel who was there, that you can send a follow-up email. I'm so sorry I missed the visit. I was on a field trip, or I had to take this exam. Sorry I missed it. That's a nice way to follow up and kind of check that box, even though you weren't able to attend. Another great opportunity are those college fairs. We had our Spring Path College Fair on September 26th. So super excited that students were able to mix with admissions professionals and meet people face to face and ask those really important and specific questions. Many high schools host their own college fairs. There are certainly regional fairs. There are the national fairs. So I know the NACAC in Connecticut, in Hartford in the springtime. So where multiple colleges attend, great opportunity to get one-on-one FaceTime with someone from the admissions team. And again, it's another checkbox or a check mark in the box of this student is really interested in us, came to make that face-to-face connection, gather some information. So again, as many of these opportunities as you can take advantage of, the better. All right, emails, text messages from colleges and admissions professionals at those schools that you're interested in, open them, respond. So again, colleges who are tracking demonstrated interest will know if you've opened the emails that they sent. They'll know how many times you opened an email. They'll know once you opened that email, did you click on links? Did you engage? So, and the same will go for text messages if you've opted into texts from institutions as well, and they send a text with a link. If you're really interested in that particular place, make sure, again, you're opening the messages, you're interacting with the contents therein. So you're clicking on those links. Again, all of that is tracked to, again, varying extents across kind of the across all of those institutions. All right, social media engagement is another way. If you have a social media presence and that college or university or trade school has a social media presence, you can engage in that way. That is tracked as well. So again, similar to kind of emails and texts, all of that is looked at. Then, of course, there are those visits to campuses. So campus tours or information sessions, open houses, and there are both in person and virtual. Sometimes it is a matter of your schedule, and perhaps you have an activity on the same day or a family obligation on the same day as an open house, or you live super far away and you can't get there for an information session on a Saturday for whatever reason. Look to see if you can attend an in person event. If you can't, look on the website and see if there are virtual events. And again, some schools will track if you're attending, others will not. But again, it certainly doesn't hurt if you can get that activity accomplished. And visiting campuses is certainly a great way, not just to show interest, but the more times you visit a campus, you get a better sense of whether or not that place will be a good fit for you. And again, nothing is 100% or foolproof, but the more times you're able to see students on campus, interact with staff or faculty members, it all kind of helps inform the decision that you will then make moving forward. All right, so we talked about kind of the different ways to apply in a previous episode, but one way that you can show, I mean, absolute interest would be applying early decision. But again, you must be absolutely certain that that is the place you are going, regardless of financial circumstance. So, though it is a surefire way to demonstrate interest, I would proceed with caution there. Certainly applying early action. So, being on top of that application game earlier than the regular decision deadline definitely shows that you're interested and you kind of have your stuff together in regards to that application for those institutions that do offer early action. applications. Optional essays and portfolios. So I kind of lump this in with interviews. If there is anything that is optional and you want to show that you really want to be at that particular institution, pretend that that piece is not optional. So if there is another optional essay or an optional supplemental or an optional portfolio, if you're going the creative path, don't consider it optional if you really want to demonstrate interest. Do all of the things. Just make sure that for you, it is part of that application process. Again, you won't seem super interested in a particular place if you're not taking advantage of all of the ways in which you can show you're a good fit. So, whatever it is, interview, optional essay, portfolio submission, if it's optional and you want to be there, show it. All right. And then lastly, reaching out to your admissions counselors. And again, to varying degrees. And this certainly doesn't mean call them every day, email every day, or become a nuisance to that admissions counselor. And sometimes you won't know. It definitely varies across different institutions. Sometimes it's very easy. In your applicant portal, it might say your admissions counselor is. Perhaps you've met that person at a high school visit or a fair. Maybe you can easily find who the admissions counselor for your area is by perusing the college's website. If you are able to get that information, you can certainly reach out. Establishing that connection can be a good thing. Sometimes it's just checking in. Just wanted to make sure that you received my high school transcript from my counselor, or just checking in about this or that. So just establishing open communication. And again, this points back to certainly if that person reaches out to you, that you respond in a timely and professional way. So making sure your email etiquette is strong or your voicemail etiquette, all of those good things. So there are a whole lot of different ways that you can demonstrate your interest. And I think the biggest takeaway is the more of these you do, the stronger your interest score will be. Again, if it matters to a particular institution. But when in doubt, demonstrate interest. If you don't, you are by default demonstrating, disinterest to a certain extent. So it certainly can't hurt. Do what works within the time that you have available. But certainly, if you can't engage in person, look for those virtual opportunities. And some of this is the most fun in the process. So being able to visit campuses or interact with people and, dig in and find out more information about internships that happened last year or, cool projects that people in a particular major, have worked on recently. So engaging is a really great way. Number one, just to learn more about all of these great places that are out there as post-secondary options, but also help you make the best decision in the end. So it's the best of both worlds. You're demonstrating interest, but you're getting what you need in the end to make the best decision for you. All right. Thanks so much.